Welcome to SkillCast, the only podcast where you learn transferable skills through real conversations. I'm Nurbanu, your host, and for season 6, we're going deeper, getting more open, and taking conversations to another level. Because some of the most powerful lessons in life don't come from textbooks, they come from people, experiences, and honest discussions. So let's begin. Welcome to SkillCast. I've actually been looking forward to this podcast for quite some time now, because I know we've had a couple of offline conversations before you've joined us on the podcast about some chronic health issues that you've had ongoing for a number of years. And the most recent conversation I had with you was that you were free from lupus, which is amazing. And it is something that I've been very much looking forward to talking to you about, because when you talk about chronic illnesses, it's very much it's an ongoing condition. You can't reverse it. It's just something, there's no cure for. You just have to live with it and find ways to just deal with it. So I'd really love to hear more about your journey and what was the miracle that happened in your life.
So I've also been looking forward to talking to you about it. And I have to say that this is the first time I'm actually sharing it. I haven't shared it publicly as yet. And yesterday was the first time I said it out loud, other than to like my family and close friends. But I felt in the room yesterday it was the right moment. And so I'm actually getting goosebumps now as well.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed with lupus 15 years ago. And at that time, when I was diagnosed, it felt like a death sentence, because I didn't know what lupus was. And it took 9 months to be diagnosed. I had so many different symptoms from, I had severe nerve damage. So I lost feelings in my feet, from my toes all the way to the top of my thighs, from my fingers to the top of my arms. And I just started a new job about a year ago, a really exciting job with a pharmaceutical company. And when these symptoms started showing up, I started to my hair was thinning, my teeth was falling, I was having a lot of digestive issues. And I kept going to the doctor, getting antibiotics, and it was just the diagnosis was it's just gut issues. So antibiotics after antibiotics, and I was losing weight. And when I started to have the nerve damage, I didn't know what was going on. It was so terrifying because I couldn't feel anything. And then suddenly it used to feel like I was walking on hot coals. So during the day, I would stuff my leg into my shoes, go to work, pretend that everything was okay. And then when I got home, take off my shoes, it was extremely painful. And so after I was diagnosed, I made a decision that I wasn't going to let this disease define me, and started a wellness program at a previous company, and started to change my life from a mindset shift point of view. And during that time, I created a wellness program, started from 1 to about 10, became a regional global ambassador, global wellness ambassador. When I left corporate, my team and I had won a global health award, competing with 70 countries. And our campaign was called It Starts With Me. And that was my mantra. It was, your wellness is in your hands. Mm-hmm. So It Starts With Me was about you taking control of how you want to live your life. Nothing defines you. You get to choose your life. And so I created a resilience framework because I was a high performer. So my framework was called SCCR, because traditional resilience wasn't really working for me. I couldn't bounce back. And so it frightened me. And so my framework stands for self-awareness, compassion, curiosity, and resourcefulness. And I had to tap into all of that to learn more about myself, use the resources that I had available. And faith was one of my resources because I'm a very spiritual person. And 10 years ago, we couldn't even talk about well-being, and we couldn't even talk about faith. It was not scientific. So I used all of that to navigate lupus and still maintain high performance. And 2 years ago, I left to start my own company. So it was my framework that helped me navigate corporate. And what happened last year, I was doing talks going around the world, and I used to have extreme pain for the last 10 years. It used to be debilitating. I would take strong painkillers. I'd get 30 painkillers that you could only get for prescription every month. And what happened is when I came to the UK, I ran out of them. So I bought some pain patches that had melted my skin. And so it got my body into shock. And so my health started to deteriorate from last November. And so I started to get infections and stuff. And then I landed in hospital in February. I was getting very weak. I couldn't walk. And all of this time I was going to the doctor, getting antibiotics, but something inside of me made me feel like something was wrong. And so when I started fainting at home, my family was not taking any more resilience. I was taken to the hospital. They put me on a drip, and the news I got, I wasn't prepared to hear. I got into hospital and they said to me, your kidneys have failed.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm pretty young. I haven't reached 50, not that 50 is old, but I haven't reached 50. I'm reaching that next year. But so I wasn't prepared for that. And they were telling me that we need to prepare to get you on dialysis, and these are all the options. And I was just too stunned for words. I'm like, I can't do this right now. They had to find a bed for me because every bed in high care, emergency care, was taken. They had to remove a patient, put me in. They had every device attached to me to monitor my heart. I have chronic low blood pressure. So they had something monitoring every 15 minutes. I was in high care for 10 days. They were taking blood every day, twice a day, to manage the infection. My kidneys were not getting any better. And I was terrified. My worst nightmares came true. I couldn't feed myself, couldn't bath myself. My kids were feeding me. I was so scared. And I had this moment when the doctors kept saying, you have to make a decision. And I said to the nephrologist, I don't want to hear about the dialysis. Just give me some space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was scared and I didn't want to look scared for my parents because I take care of my parents, and I was looking at my kids, I don't want to die just yet, and you know, all of that. And I was asking myself in this moment, I was thinking of my framework, and I'm thinking, I'm a leadership coach. What's going on here? Let me just breathe, you know. And I said to myself, you know, I'm such a strong spiritual person. I believe in Shiva, and he can solve everything. So what am I afraid of? And I realized that you can't have fear and faith in that same space. So that night, I went to sleep. My husband had to travel to the UK, so I was totally alone. Every time I opened my eyes, they'd taken blood. And they took so much of blood from me that night. They also had to give me an infusion. They had to get permission from my parents, you know, cut me up here to get a vein close to my heart and all of that. And so that night, when I went to sleep, I found myself at like the feet of God. I couldn't see the face of God, even though Shiva, I know what he looks like, but I couldn't see his face. I was at this beach. And I said, Lord, I surrender. There's nothing you cannot solve. I believe that you will heal me completely. And in that moment, it's like something opened, like, you know, like a screen or something. And then I saw the doctor come into my room, and the doctor said to me, I've never seen results like this. this is a miracle. Your kidneys have healed. And this was the vision I saw, and then it went away.
Wow, it sounds like a near-death experience where you went to where your soul was meant to be. And I think it was the whole essence of I surrender to you. I give you permission to guide me, oh Lord. And I think that's exactly what it was. You have a bigger purpose in life. You have a mission that you need to fulfill. Dying is not for you. I'm going to make you better so you can do what your mission is, what you were born to do, which I believe in this case is inspire, empower, and lead with purpose and spirituality. And I feel like it's like a sign, like that is a sign from the universe, you are on path. And the fact that when you have these difficulties in life, it's more of a sign to test your resilience, which you said. And if life is all like roses and daisies and you have no challenges, no struggles in your life, then how can you know who you truly are? How can you do better for others until you experience pain yourself? Because then you have this essence of compassion, emotional intelligence, because you've been there, done that. So you can empower those who are in the early stages struggling. So I believe I believe that's what it is, and that's what it sounds like.
You actually described it so well, because that's exactly what I felt. I felt like it was a vision, because the next morning when the doctor walked in the room and he said exactly, it was like, so I wasn't sure whether I was still high from the meds, because when he said that, I'm still thinking, is this real? And they told me that they can't find any lupus markers from my bloods. I don't have any lupus. And then the doctors came and said to me, did you even have lupus? I'm like, you can't be serious. Like, I've had lupus for 10 years. They even went to go find my rheumatologist and stuff, but that's what it was. And the pain that I've been experiencing for the last 10 years, since I've come out of hospital, it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. I'm just grateful that it's gone. And yeah, I mean,
have you built a community now to help other females on their journeys, on their path with chronic illnesses, not necessarily lupus, but just generally, have you added something in your framework for those?
So that's what I'm starting to do now. And I feel like coming here has opened that up, because yesterday when I went on stage, I have to tell you, it all feels like, even coming to this conference feels like it was destiny. And when we spoke about even the movie some time ago, I was saying that it wasn't the right time then, because something else needed to happen.
It sounds like that's what it was.
That's what it was.
That's exactly. And I think this is like a light bulb moment for both of us as well.
Yes.
Because we had like a brief conversation, and you had talked about living with chronic illness. At that point, it was about you living with lupus and your life as it is. But now that you've had this experience, this vision, this awakening, that's what you needed to experience for that to be like portrayed in the film, and talk about that journey. And that's what the sign from the universe was, from the Lord, from your Lord, that this is it. And the ironic thing is, actually, we finished season 1, which is actually what we invited you for, but it's actually season 2 that we're doing now. And season 2, the theme is on woman empowerment, empowering females who have felt empowered. And no one so far that's joining season 2 has actually talked about living with a chronic illness, and the spiritual awakening that you've had. And that I feel like this is a sign. And the whole destiny, coming to Oxford, going on stage, having that moment of ecstasy while you were on that stage, you were in flow state. Going there, speaking, and then actually having that that realization that actually there is more.
I mean, every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm getting goosebumps. You know, someone came up to me yesterday afterwards, and she said to me, she was so inspired, and we spoke about it, and she was sharing her journey. And then people have connected with me that were at the conference on LinkedIn. People from South Africa. I didn't even meet them in South Africa. I met them at the conference, and then they were saying, are you at the gala? I wanted to chat to you. I'm like, no, I'm in my hotel room. I said, okay, we'll chat in South Africa. So it was really, it really was a
destiny
full
coincidence.
circle moment for me.
I'm really glad that LOSD was able to create that community and that space for you.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like the stars are aligned. And
I would say so,
yeah.
definitely.
I think that's a really beautiful note to end on. I'm really grateful for your time here and the journey you've been on, and what's more, what you're adding to your framework for people who are on similar journeys. I feel like you're the right person to reach out to. We'll definitely link all of your handles so people can see, you can have conversations with people. People can reach out to you because you have this really warm, inviting aura to you. You are there. You want to help. You want to serve. I really hope that your words can really inspire more and
Thank
help.
you. Thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity. I've loved chatting to you.